proposing fascia again, a bit more practice. Actually,
okay.
Not the full workout, but we did not much practice last time, but there was no practical component, as much I can remember. Verena?
True. Hey, I think if you want to do something practical, I have to change my pants real quick. I have to put something else on. I'll be right back.
It should be, last time it was purely theoretical. This time it should be a bit more practical. This was
okay, cool.
Yeah, just for some spacey pants. Yeah, I guess fascia likes naked people most. So as less gluing to your body as possible. This is compromising your sensory input. I don't want to get too often into some stories. Maybe I'm also repeating some stories, but there was the 5 finger sewing time. There was a legal process against 5 fingers because they have been promising that they are perfect for barefoot running, and it turned out that it isn't. For a beginner, for an advanced, no problem. For a beginner who doesn't have this programs and these patterns just to let it run, it's a problem of sensory input. Sensory input is one of my most beloved topics because it's actually everything. This is what makes our brain work, and it was not Lee Saxby who made the case against 5 fingers, but he was one of those who found out the problem with it. And did I ever tell you a story about the barefoot run in London? And have you ever heard about this?
No.
So this was I have been the honor of getting the first Vivo Barefoot instruction of barefoot running from the one who was developing the Vivo Barefoot running shoes. He was all about evolution. It was really, really great to have this scientific proof of evolution about nutrition and a lot of stuff. And then he told us about the barefoot thing and the 5 fingers. He was with a blog reporter in London at this barefoot run, and they were hiding next to a bridge where they could have a good frame on the feet of the people. And they also not just film the feet of the people, but also something they could recognize them in the goal or after the finish, some shorts or whatever. So they filmed the people and took a look into the material and found out that there was a lot of barefoot runners actually who really did the barefoot run technique. There were some barefoot runners who hit the ground with the heels, and a lot of people who had these 5 fingers on, or most of them actually hit the ground with the heels. And they were then approaching these people and asked them, how do you think do you land on the ground? And all of them thought they were hitting with the forefoot or with the midfoot, but he could prove that they did not. They hit with the heel first. And their interpretation was that natural foot is not put into something. A natural foot is open, is barefoot or has a sandal. Being in shoes is something like being a specialist, some minor or whatever, specialist treatment for special affordance. So shoes were introduced, and from a specific time on, there have been just shoes, and the same is with the 5 fingers. It's something that is getting sensory input in your foot where normally there's none. And his interpretation, so the sensory input comes from above, from below, when you touch the ground. But there is no sensory input between the toes, and there is no sensory input on top of the toes. And their interpretation was that if you are a barefoot runner, a beginner, and you have no technique and no experience and no training, the sensory feedback from your feet, where you hit the foot first on the ground, is not reliable. And this is where they interpreted that the sensory, the confusion of the sensory input of a beginner running in 5 fingers leads to a wrong feedback of what the foot is actually doing. Yeah. So the foot was not hitting with the forefoot, it was hitting with the heel, and the people did not realize it. And this was the problem after about 5 or 6 years. I met Lee Saxby in 2011, and I think this case against 5 fingers was much later. But it was that people then complained that they got problems with running and with their feet after using the wrong promise from the 5 finger company. This is good for your barefoot run. Okay, so that's the thing with the barefoot 5 finger stuff. And what was actually the beginning of the story? Get your clothes off when you move. Yeah, because you want a clear sensory input picture, and not, as we call it, as we still have been TV watchers after 12 o'clock or something. It was the snowstorm at the Matterhorn picture. Yeah, and this is about the same when you put a foot into a 5 finger for a beginner who wants to start running barefoot. It's about the same sensory input confusion. Good, and that's all the same topic actually. So we are now going into fascia, and as we said, if you don't use your fascia properly and it's going to degenerate, that means it's getting glued. If it's not stretched, it's getting glued, it's getting confused, it's getting wrong sensory input, and this wrong sensory input is mostly also perceived as pain. So back pain is mostly not because of there is a structural damage. It is the fascia, this quite thick in the lumbar spine area, is actually out of order, and there is confusion sound, and this is pain. It's called pain. It's just a tense feeling of a chaotic fascia situation. Okay, good. Continuing into the fascia thing. So we were talking about already about the school-like view on fascia. With, as I said, there is fitness system connected to the scientific studies. The scientific studies have been mostly made from Robert Schleip. Actually, it's the pope of the fascia research, and Bivo Müller was with his couple in some somatic academies fascia courses. She always provided the exercises for the fascia research, and the most important exercises were always whole body movements with expanded fascia as much as possible. It means whole body movements, multiple chains movements, not just over one joint, but over as many joints as possible, as well as if you want to activate as much fascia as possible, it also includes spreading of the fingers. And the background is that the fascia is a web that is covering everything and all of our body. I think it's the only organ that if you take away everything except this fascia organ, you will stay as a full person there, but just with no blood and no red, no eyes. It's just a web. So the fascia is actually holding you up. It was told that the fascia is not the tent and the bones, that are holding the tent in its form, it's actually everything. That means that's the stuff that is covering the bones and the tent is holding the form of the tent. So the fascia also gives our form. Yeah, this is hard to understand. I also don't understand it not. But if you would just take out the bones, yeah, you will fall down normally, but you would not fall down because the fascia is actually still keeping you upright. Yeah, it's called tensegrity. If you Google this, then you know what I mean. It's a special wooden structure that is just kept in place by all the little strings that are connecting the ends of this wooden sticks that are in the structure. So the fascia is actually expanding the tissue on top of the bones into a three-dimensional web. And if you take everything away, the fascia will still be there and representing you. A ghost-like shadow. Okay, so this is the theory, and in practice, I want to go into different possibilities where fascia work, and in the same way how we train it. Yeah. So one is so the basic the basic rule is still as more you are using of your body in a movement, the more likely you integrate all fascia. Yeah. This stands against something like when you move, you always train the fascia. So the one says that fascia is always part of movements, sure, because it is also tendons, it is also cartilage, it is also ligaments, all the family of fascia. As well as when you...
Sorry for interrupting. I think Ivan wrote a message that he cannot rejoin the session for some reason. He dropped off and cannot get back.
And you cannot use the same link again?
He says, I cannot rejoin for some reason. I don't know. Okay, but...
Okay, just telling him that he may try the link again. That's still in the WhatsApp group. Let's see. Should not expire. Okay, so the difference is between a full body movement is actually working on the whole stretch of the fascial web. Partial body movements are trying to use maybe the remaining elasticity of the fascial web. So there will be no movement without the fascia web. And if we want to use the fascia, we need elastic movement, or what is better explanation? It's elastic movement, it's soft movement, it's absorption movement, it's eccentric movement. That's all something that is on the side where fascia takes a major role, or a bigger role than muscles. Muscles are fast, muscles contract. What else? Muscles don't have that much sensory feedback possibility. So what's up? Now it sends me to a meeting where I am the only participant. Aha. Okay, let me see whether there is a link possibility here on the screen. Anybody knows a direct link to the running meeting? Ah, there is a link copy possibility. No, it's a different one. Looks good. Okay, so what I want to say is that we have different possibilities to work with the fascia. So there is whole body movements. They're all whole body movements, but there are movements where we actually engage the whole body more obviously, and there are movements where we don't engage the body completely obviously, but it is still dependent on the fascia system, how the movement then is put into practice. And let's go for the most important exercises that are spanning the whole body, and then we go a bit more into detail. And the practice would be again the sideway rolling. I think the sideway rolling, the supine rolling to the side and back with hand leading or leg leading is one of the easiest, where we have the whole body in a stretched out position. And the movement is actually not done by pushing or pulling somewhere, but just by leverage and body weight shift that is pulled by something. And should be not pulled, or theoretically, it's not the pull on muscle to muscle. It's actually a pull from the fascia that is distributed through the whole body. And I would like to test something with you in the supine lying rolling. Do you have a little space? Can you go over the side rolling, and you do the rolling just as you did before, without any different? So it's about reaching up, it's about reaching over, it's about using the head as a leverage and the hand as a leverage, the arm as a leverage, and then softly rolling supine to prone and vice versa. Okay, the second link also doesn't work. He thinks he's on a problem on his side. He has a quite bad internet connection. Okay. So, and now you change something. So you have the active side with the arm that is reaching over, and you have the passive side. It's this same-sided leg and arm. Now it's coming back. So same-sided leg and arm can stretch out like a pandiculation. So the leg can shift or push downwards, and the same-sided arm can push upwards. So they are pushing apart. And it's like stretching in the morning in the bed. It's also that you not just stretch the arms up, but you stretch the legs down and the arms up, and then you get a full body elongation. Okay, just do this to get a feeling of it. Good. And now you should combine both. So you have the stretching out on one side, and on the other side, you have the reaching arm. And if you have a good feeling of yourself, you should feel that there is a difference in the rolling movement. Important is that the passive side, the same-sided arm leg, should stretch out horizontally. And the other one is doing the movement. Maybe it's a bit complicated, but it's possible. So, and then the $1 million question, is there a difference? Yeah, it was a question. Anybody feel any difference?
Felt a bit more, like the entire body felt a little bit more stable when I was stretching the side out that I would be rolling over.
Yep. This is
It's
what. Philip, too?
Sorry. Yeah, it feels like more like a roll, like in a way softer and more like a nice wheel or roll.
When you do the stretching.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this was never told to me that this is a fascia stretch. This was a functional movement screen progression to the side roll if somebody is not able to do the side roll with just arm leading or leg leading. If there's a disconnect between the activation of abdominal strength and the connection to the arm. If it is disconnected, yeah, so the shoulder is too unstable and cannot build up any connection that is transferring energy or transporting energy. This roll is difficult to do. And they introduced two possibilities. Hi, Alistair. One is there was a Cook band. It was a long rubber band. You had to put in one hand and then down to the leg and then to the other hand. So it was spanning the whole length of your body, and it helped to roll you over because it was extended in its starting position, and while reaching, it got a bit more extension, and this extension then helped you to transfer the energy contralaterally into the roll. And if this was able to be done, they started with just the reaching and then the rolling. And after doing a fascia course, it was clear that it's actually the underlying reason why it's easier to turn around is when you are activating your fascia through a trick. By stretching it, you give it a pre-stretch, and with the pre-stretch, force transfer is possible. If it's contracted and you stretch on one part, the other part here is not getting a draw. So let's say this is a normal fascia. I pull here and it pulls the rest with me. If there is a disconnect, I pull here and it doesn't move here because it's disconnected in between. And we have these disconnections in the shoulder. We have this in the whole trunk area with these big fascial chains that are connecting the extremities. And it means if you are extending, you are not closing these distances, but you get tension in this part and tension in this part where normally there was a disconnect. And with this continuous tension, then it was possible to move the whole body with just one arm. Okay, and this 100% is found in the fascia research that you have to expand everything so fascia gets under tension. And if you want to have this chaotic or dysfunctions in the fascia, you need to tense everything to address also stuff that is still not being able to access. Okay, this is also where foam rolling is stepping in. If you stretch a muscle and everything gets stretched, but not the part that is actually the problem, you need to address this specific part, especially make it a bit more soft so it can also follow the stretching movement. Okay, so this would be the first real fascia exercise is the side roll. The side roll then gives also the informations about, or if you're not able to do the side roll, you also have dysfunctions in something like walking, running, crawling, because this is then the progressions of it. Okay, the next one is, let's go for crawling. So inverted crawling, for example. So we have two possibilities. We have the possibilities of keeping everything tight and moving the body weight without any elasticity. That means I'm like a robot. My whole body is tight. I just move in a little range of motion, or the most little range of motion to move forward. So it's very rigid movement. Now, could you just feel this by yourself, because we always want to feel then the difference to a different kind of. So you don't want to sway, you don't want to lift softly up and down, you don't want to bounce, you want to move like a robot. Okay, and then you do the contrast. You move very softly. It means you are reaching a bit more, yeah? And with this not strong point of support, while shifting your body weight onto it, you're sinking into the shoulder, yeah? And when you are in support, the shoulder gets tight up again. So it's a relaxation and a tension, and you are sinking into the points of support, and they lift you again. You sink into it, and when you push forward, they lift you again. So when you are loading a point of support, you're sinking into it, and when you are unloading a point of support, you are lifting out of the point of support. Yeah? And this gives the up and down movement in the shoulders, as well as a sideway movement. Right, and you may feel there is a specific timing. It can be very slow, and it can be a bit more fluent. And the slower it gets, the more intense it becomes. And the more fluent it is, the less energy it consumes. Could you try this? So the one is that you are doing it very softly, lifting up and down. Yeah, the other one is very slow, sorry, not softly, but slow. And the other one is that you are getting in a specific speed where the lift is actually really, let's say, it's 1 second of lifting up and down, lifting up and down, lifting up and down, and not getting down, lifting up, getting down, lifting up. You can start very slow and then speed up a bit. And maybe you find a speed where you feel that the lifting up and down is actually going into a rhythmic pattern where there is not the feeling of muscles are contracting and letting loose. It's more like the muscles keep more in a fixed position, and the getting down and up is a stretching and a recoil movement. Verena, you seem a bit of tight in the shoulder area. Are you training the tight or the soft stuff?
Both to like feel the difference, but okay, overall good. I feel tight in my shoulders today, so
yeah, it
that
looks
might
like
be affecting it.
Is there a difference in intensity? If you do it very slow, intensity should be higher than if you do it a bit more swiftly.
Yeah.
So where is intensity coming from? Intensity is just coming from your breath. You're breathing too little. for example, or from too much CO2 production. And that's muscle work. And if something feels more intense, that means there are more muscles at work, which are lifting the CO2 level, which afford you to breathe more. And interesting would be, can you find a speed where it still feels relaxed? It still feels not that intense. Is there a deviation point of, if I do it very slow, it feels intense. If I do it a bit faster, it does not feel that tense or intense anymore. Here's a bit of a study now, because I've never had a group of people just trying this out. There is one time factor in fascia. It's the 250 milliseconds thing. Have you ever heard about this? This is a calculated number, and it's about when do fascia work? When the muscles are shut down, or and the fascia are the only structure that can go for elasticity in this quick time frame. Yeah, that's the barefoot running thing. This they found out, and I think mostly about the down jumping, the plyometrics we were talking last time, because this is a high performance sports scientific, very important exercise for explosive movements. They were training and also testing the ground contact time of people, and that you can find out quite fast whether this person is a talent in fast movements or not at all. Yeah, so you can already get some talent scouting, and if you find some people who have fascia that reacts quite easily and fast, then you can also train it for a specific extent. But the time they were finding out was 250 milliseconds. That means when the ground contact time of your body is faster than 250 milliseconds, the structure that is recruited for the work is the fascia structure. Muscles cannot react that fast. The contraction and release of myosin and actin proteins cannot work that fast. So it must be the elastic recoil effect of the fascia that steps in here. Okay, so that means if you are running slow and also have a longer ground contact time, there's a big amount of muscles still working. Yeah, so it's also the fascia on the muscles, but it's more a contractile work and not an elastic recoil work. That's 250 milliseconds. That means everything that is faster is fascia work, and everything that is slower is muscle work. And this is again out of a single movement or a single scenario, but is not spanning maybe the whole possibilities of fascia. And if you are applying the side roll, then it's a different mechanism where you are able to engage fascia or not engage fascia. It's not about ground contact time. It's also about length. And the longer you can stretch your fascia, the more it can be put into practice or instrumentalized in a movement. And a proof is the side rolling. And how did it feel with the inverted crawl? Can you find the difference between very slow and more contractile and more intensity work? And can you find a speed where the intensity is actually fading a bit and it feels like there's an elasticity work going on now, a zero energy work? Can you feel this? Have you felt something like this while crawling inverted?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Everybody or just you? Because I want you to feel it.
Yes, like a cradle swing.
So, okay, so it's, and that's the reason for it is the length, right? That means if I'm tight and moving my shoulders, for example, just in an extension flexion, there's a specific amount of fascia that is following. But if you start now to lift and lower yourself in the movement, then the fascia gets extended and contracts again, or is getting shortened again. In the movement, if your center of gravity is going up and down, the fascia is getting stretched and shortened again. If your center of gravity is just moving rigid like this, then everything stays in the same length, except this little shoulder extension and knee extension you use for the body weight shift. Yeah, okay, so there can be fascia in it, but there's more fascia in it if you are going for elastic, fluid, bouncy, swingy movement. Okay, and that's a swing. And the swing is very important for elastic stuff. Okay, let's try the next one. It's the foot hand crawl. And in the foot hand crawl, we have two possibilities now. So the first one is you go for a bit of a robotic, not very swingy movement. This is how a beginner starts, where the condition is not very good, where the insecurities of whatever does my wrists get this, everything is getting tensed up, and it looks also very tensed up without any fascia reaction. So go for a foot and hand crawl forward and backward, and just feel this robotic zero fascia elasticity movement style. Good. And then for direct comparison, you start to become soft. Yeah. That means your knee angle, your hip angle maybe are closing and opening a bit. That means your hip is getting up and down a bit. As well as your chest spine between your shoulder blades. It's getting up and down a bit, very softly. So you're sinking into when gravity pulls, and then you are not elastically out, but you are getting lifted again against gravity, then you're sinking into gravity. Then the third possibility is like when I see Verena, you are going to apply a bit of elasticity, but the impact of your hands is quite hard. That means it's like it looks more like still like this, and less like this. Where there is always a constant tension. It looked a bit like tension on, tension off, tension on, tension off. And then it becomes a bit of a very rhythmic, hard rhythmic movement. It should be a very soft rhythmic movement. And this comes when you are focusing on how you place the points of support on the ground. Do you slap on the ground, or are you doing it very softly, starting with 1%, with 2%, with 3%, until the ball of the hand and the full weight is applied to this point of support. Okay. Fourth possibility, you are stretching out your fingers as much as possible while crawling. You not keep them that loose like this, but with every crawl, you are really expanding your fingers, and then start to point of contact, point of support, very, very, very softly. Yeah, like withholding, and then let yourself sink down and push off again. The more open your fingers, the higher is the tension in the fascial system, the more easy it can play this out, this elasticity. Okay, if you need some rest, take it, maybe give me some feedback on how does it feel when you place your points of support softer on the ground, when you're spreading your fingers.
Spreaded finger version actually felt nicest on the wrists. So it took a lot of tension out of the wrists.
Aha, interesting. Anybody else felt the same? Does the finger spreading put some tension out of the wrist? Does it make the wrist more loose?
I prefer with the fingers spread for sure. It's something I've been working on just because I heard that with the way we function with phones and keyboards and all the time like this, the thumb and the index are very often kind of placed close. So this really helps to open that up. And I find that with crawling, we have a perfect opportunity to, on top of spreading, we're using it as a point of support. So it feels really good just through the whole hand and the wrist as well. One question I had, does it apply to the feet as well? Should we be thinking of like spreading the toes apart, use that as an opportunity too?
If you can do this, do it. I cannot.
Okay.
Even if I did 20 years of Shotokan karate and was barefoot, but my feet are quite stiff. But that's it. Yeah, that means if you're spreading the fingers out in the hand, that the fascia in the whole body gets more tension and is more ready to bring in elasticity into the movement because it has already a basic tension, and it's not loose. In every movement, then is getting a bit of tension in a loose tissue has no effect at all. But tension in an already tensed up tissue brings a bit more tension. And there's also, and this is maybe the decisive point, is that you need a specific degree of tension in your body, a basic activated level of fascial tension. And if you put then another tension on it, then it's like there is a tension, and then you can press this tension up and down, and it starts to have an elastic thing. If there's no tension, you press it down, it's gone. If there's too much tension to press it down, then there is no reaction. But you need a tension that can add a little bit more tension and can also get rid of this tension to get back to the basic homeostasis. In this perfect situation, everything starts to become soft and elastic, and it's not completely due to contractile elements which need energy and produce temperature. It's just dependent on the free energy elasticity of the fascial system, getting stretched and getting recoiled, stretched and recoiled, and not contraction or extraction. Okay, so the last possibility would be the spiral movement of the arm when you have so it starts with the fingers. Yeah, the fingers are getting spread when you bring down the whole ball of the hand, and when the ball of the hand comes down, the shoulder is getting activated, and the shoulder is getting activated in an external rotation. This is this little elbow rotation that is we call part of the stability cascade. It's actually the global stabilizers that are getting, maybe the global stabilizers, or it looks like the global stabilizers are the key of this whole body tension that are responsible then for getting the use of the fascia or no use of the fascia. Okay, and what I mean is, so you bring the hand down as spread as possible. Then you are coming down and you're loading the heel of the hand. And the heel, the same as the heel of the foot, are connected to the biggest absorber. For the foot, it's the glutes, and for the hand, it's the shoulder. That means when you are pressing down with a ball of the hand, your arm turns into this direction. So this is the loose position. This is where fascia is short. And if now your shoulder getting into stability, it turns like this, and the fascia gets stretched again. Here the fascia is short, the fascia gets stretched. And that means everything is tensed up, and now you can start to really sink into the arm, and it brings you up again. You sink into the arm, and it brings you up again. That means the whole fascia elasticity potential is engaged. So try this. You try still with the spreading. You put the finger on. You turn the elbow with every step in the crawl. Then you try to start to flow. Verena, you're still very digital.
Because I'm thinking about like how to place it and how to do the single steps.
Yeah, take this.
So that makes it very digital and not fluent.
Okay, so start with digital and then try to switch to analog. This is very fine stuff. This maybe this turn of the elbow is maybe not that necessary for practical purpose, but it is again, it's an exaggeration of something to train something that is maybe lost. And for every fluent movement, there needs to be a basic tension in the body. If there is no tension, then there is no force transaction. And if there's too much tension, it's the same. So we need a basic tension that is including or integrating something that is made for long endurance work. This can't just be in a half activated state. Zero activated state is sleeping, full activated state is fighting. And in between, there needs to be an efficient movement. Not just done by muscles, but actually done by as much fascia as possible. So the perfect form would then be if you are able to continue the crawling pattern without these stops to think about, I need to spread my fingers, I need to turn my elbow. Maybe you can just take the half of all of these little cues, but integrate it in a very soft, fluent forward crawl and backward crawl without any pause, any interruption. And always thinking about my fingers are spread, my ball is completely on the ground. When my ball is on the ground, let's turn the elbow a little bit. Let's keep soft in the shoulders, keep soft in the knees, keep soft in the hips, keep soft in the breathing, nose breathing. Again, there's something natural that gets lost, and if you identifying it again and want to integrate it again, it feels strange because normally it is not there in this extent. Maybe it's just much more shallow. It can be shallow, but then it's better timed and sequenced with the other parts. And if you lose it, and then you have to isolate it and have to rebuild it, it always feels a bit of awkward. This is when somebody comes to a natural movement workshop and you show him the right natural movement jump, and he says, this feels completely unnatural. Yeah, but this is not the fault of the jump. This is because you are unnatural. Do it. Just do it for 20 times, and then you will feel that how natural it is and how wrong you have been. Verena, jetzt ist schön fluent.
Jetzt denkst du auch nicht mehr drüber nach, was ich tue.
Ja, genau, gut. Ja, einfach nur so ein bisschen Anstoß, einfach ein bisschen einen halben Millimeter mehr Rotation im Ellbogen. Und möglicherweise ist das jetzt nur, weil du es gerade ausprobiert hast, und jetzt bin ich wieder im Englisch, it's just maybe a little bit better than before, and it already feels a bit more fluent. Yeah, invest 100% and then keep just 50. That's enough. Okay, so you can feel it a bit, right? That it makes sense to get into some technical cues that are working to engage the fascia better. Yeah. Should also be important for the sensory input. If the fascia is better engaged, the sensory input is better, is more clear, on point. Okay, the next thing. Oh wow, 5 minutes left. Two more things I was talking already about. You was the feet position in jumping and in lifting. We were already talking about. So lifting, the topic of lifting. This observation I've made, and also saw it different, and also there are notions from other people that means when you are, there's from physiotherapy, if you have an instability in the hip and you jump or you lift, your knees are falling in like this, right? So it's the knee collapse like this. Yeah? And physiotherapeutical or functional fitness counter work is that you are, when you lift something up, that you are pressing your legs outwards, or this was also something from functional, it's called PNF, proprioceptive neuromuscular, whatever, proprioception. It is that you put a mini band around here, and it forces you to the inside, and so the proprioception tells you to work against it. So if somebody is here and wants to bring you out of the homeostasis, your body is automatically reacting against it. And this is the major theory and praxis behind the PNF, proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, it's called. Yeah, and there's a lot of critique again from physiotherapists that say if you activate this muscle, does not mean that your walking pattern becomes better or whatever. It's again something that gets isolated, activated, and still has a problem to be integrated and then full functioning. Yeah, and if you hear all about this stuff, and then you observe something by yourself, then you start to question the whole approach. Maybe it's not a muscle in your hip. Maybe it's it can be parts of muscles that you're sitting to squash all day, and it's also that the fascia system is not longer working properly and is then allowing stuff like this. So it means there's always more reasons for a dysfunction than just one isolated part of your body. Yeah, the story is mostly a bit more complicated. Yeah. So let's try this together. So you're standing in a squat position, and you are pretending lifting. That means you have a weight here, and the weight is pressing you down. And then think about what are your feet are you doing? What do they tend to do when you are imitating a press down situation as well as a press up situation. So just try to make a loaded or load yourself by pressing down into the ground while going down, and now stop, and now you want to go up and you press again down into the ground. Feel what your feet are doing. Where do they get loaded? What are the knees doing? You're not turning anything. You're not moving anything in or out. You're just pressing into the ground. So if somebody has a problem with the foot, that means he has a flat foot or whatever, a high arch. This could also be a problem. So the perception is not very good because the sensory input is not very good. So the key is pressing into the ground. This again, the stability cascade thing. First pressing into the ground, then there is some activation. The activation is not going up to your fontanella. The activation is just staying where it's needed. And that's, let's say, should be very high in the ankles. Let's say 90%, 70% in the knees, 50% in the hips, and 30% in the spine, lumbar spine. But they're all prepared. Good. Do you feel anything, especially? What are your feet doing? So, okay, I guess it's loaded on the outside. It's loaded exactly where actually the
3 points.
The 3 points, right?
Oh.
That's 3. Sure. It's a tripod. It's where with 3 points you get the most stability while keeping flexible. But maybe you exaggerate the pattern. Yeah? Exaggerate by when you are pressing down in the way down and pressing down in the way up, that your feet want to turn outwards or inwards. That your feet want to go into this direction, or they don't want to go, or they want to go into this direction. Yeah, so I can feel it quite obviously because I thought already quite often about it. But there's a tendency how your feet want to find more stability, or want to engage more strength, or want to be more safe. Philipp, hast du was gemerkt?
Yeah, I feel that if you turn the knees more inward, the weight distribution goes to the heels. So it's not so stable, and when you move it outward, it's more maybe evenly distributed, or more like you press more from the balls of your feet.
When they turn inwards,
when the knees come in.
Mm-hmm.
If you say the knees, if they slightly come inward and you press up, I feel like you press more from the heels.
When
like
the knees
this, when you keep them out and you press more, the weight is more evenly distributed, or also more on the balls. Okay.
Yeah, when I go down and I'm consciously turning my feet a bit like this, it becomes much more stable than if I go with the knees inward, it feels completely unstable. And if I try to turn my feet out like this, it becomes very, very stable. Especially in the calves and the knees, they tense up quite high. If I put the feet like this, there's all tension gone.
Is it more this interplay of having my feet turned outward, but my knees are slightly turning inward? Because then I have like this kind of spiral effect that you described last time. Because I mean, like, if I want to get the 3 points of my foot, it makes sense to turn my feet outward, because then I already have like more contact, especially to the outer edge part. If I turn them inward, they will tend to like also lift up the outer part a tiny bit.
Right.
So I have less contact.
Right.
But if I turn my feet outward and my knees a tiny bit inward, I should have like more stretch in the fascia, no?
About the knee
There's-
inward, I'm not that sure. For me, it's the knees also turn out like this.
I mean, not like actively turning them inward, but sort of like this idea, what we have, like instead of pressing outward, kind of this idea of squeezing a block together.
Ah, okay.
So not like letting them collapse, but more like squeeze.
Yeah, but it feels more like the thighs coming inward, but the knees
Yeah,
still turn
yeah, fair. The knees stay where they are, but my thighs are squeezing together, because then I have like all this activation here.
Right. Exactly. Okay, so now I'm on the same page as you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very fine thing. I know if you never have done it, you maybe don't get the movement at all. Yeah, I've just show it from time to time. It becomes more and more clear that the stronger I need to be, the more my feet turning outwards, and it's also about that my leverage is also, or my posts are getting much more straight under me than if I turn the legs inwards. So if I'm doing this movement, turning out, it becomes much more aligned than when I'm in like this. It's a bit of a deviation of a straight post. Here I've got a straight post down. If I do it like this, I'm leaving the straight column, and it gets a bit of an edge in it, which is not supporting very good, right? So it's different things. It's that this rotation also positions my leg in a much more stable position, and there is also tension in it, and it is a little spiral movement. The hips are fixed, and the feet start to shift outward, and the whole leg is also spiraling down. And the strange thing is that if you are doing a jump upwards, it's the other way around. Yeah, this is what I don't need to prove. This is what I told you last time or two times, 2 sessions before, that they found out basketball and volleyball playing that with this strange inward position like this, you get much more elasticity. And the big difference between both of those is that the elasticity jumping movement, where you have again a downward movement to load the fascia, and then the upward movement to have the recoil, is a different spiral movement than if you need to lift something heavy. And the most important, the most decisive factor is again the time factor. In the jump, it's a very fast movement. In the lift, it's a very slow movement. And the difference then comes out if it's fast, it has a different activation of fascia than if it's slow. But in both cases, fascia needs to be activated. Your body wants to activate fascia because it costs no energy. So whenever you can add it, or it can add it, it does. Okay, wow, sorry, time is fleeing that fast. So what I just wanted to tell you is that with the fascia thing, it's not that easy as it's written down. It's not that, okay, we have a scientific thing, it needs to be stretched out, and now we do all the movements that are just stretched out, and then we predict you some fascia training effect. So that's not the case. Fascia is much more complex than science thinks or wants us not to let us know, whatever. They just want to keep it simple. Okay, so always try to put in spiral movements, always try to extend the fascia as much as possible, and always try to be as soft and bouncy as possible. This is fascia training, and also normally this is the goal. Yeah, I'm actually writing the second part of the joint care program of the trainer certification, and it is all about soft movement and gentle movement. And I always think about, if this is reading somebody who wants to train muscle, he's out already, because this so sounds like Pilates or whatever, old ladies don't hurt yourself procedure, but we want to retrain lost stuff. And this is why everybody can move like a robot, or move very badly coordinated. Yeah? But we want to move like a high performance athlete. They don't move like robots. They move like leopards, like the supple leopard. This is something we actually are, and we need to bring it back. And this is mostly dependent on the fascia system and not on the muscles. Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking very forward when the next trend is not the muscles but the fascia. Yeah. And then you will see how much people are able to use the fascia. Most of the people are able to use the muscles. The most stupid things are mostly the most popular, right? Good. Okay, go training. I hope this helps a bit in your practice. And I tried to write it down somewhere more understandable and for further reading. Good. I'm out for 2 weeks. I actually go on holiday. I hope to be back in 2 weeks. I will come back next Tuesday. The Tuesday after next Tuesday, and then I think it makes no sense to make a session in the evening. I don't know how I will come back.
For all the others, should we then next Tuesday do one of the peer teaching sessions? Because apparently everybody has time at this time.
Good idea.
You got it.
What you can also think about is when you have a problem with finding a good date, and the Tuesday is the best date also for you, we can do a bi-weekly switch if you like. Doing the theory and the peer-to-peer course in the bi-weekly alternation. Think about it. And Verena, you don't have any rights to set up a meeting, or what did you put into the?
I don't know if it's changed by now. Let me quickly check. I think I still don't have the rights.
You're trying in trainer meetings to create an event?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not working.
Yeah, I think so.
Should be obvious, right? So if you're just going into trainer meetings,
nope, I can't.
Should be on the right top. There should be
there should be a button, and I don't have it.
Okay, good. I manage this. So no worry. I give you the note when it should be possible. Okay.
Ooh.
See you in 3 weeks.
Enjoy your vacation.
Thank you.